Steady now.
Despite its relative obscurity, Jett Tailfin has something of a curious history. It was announced originally for the 3DS and Wii U in May 2012 by Maximum Games, months before the latter launched. Yet it would not resurface until some 2 years later in 2014 and under a different publisher, Funbox Media. Not to mention, the 3DS version would never surface. Information is otherwise hard to come by, leaving context scarce other than it was a mobile game ported to console. That's something the Wii U eShop would see plenty of and with mixed results. But this underwater racing game takes the idea to a new level of bad.
Hey, take that!
Starring the titular fish and several other speedy swimmers, Jett Tailfin looked to capture some of the magic of other racers on the same console. Unfortunately, things fall apart almost immediately once you begin your first race. The controls are mapped so cumbersomely that it's uncomfortable to play for long sessions, as moving your chosen fish requires you to hold down the R button as opposed to the normal ZR placement, and resting on a bumper to essentially accelerate is far from optimal. You can deploy power-ups and use speed boosts earned from bubbles using the triggers or the gamepad screen, but the latter only causes more awkwardness. Even the way the buttons look feel copied from a mobile game, showing the laziness of the port. Even had the controls been better thought out, the racing still would have been abysmal. The track design is weak, with nothing in the way of shortcuts and very few splitting paths. Some of the circular courses last less than 2 minutes.
Hey, take that! I'm the top fin.
The narrow tracks see you often catching on walls or objects, especially as movement is slow, but honestly you very rarely need to make inputs anyway. Power-ups are very poor, as they're limited to a handful of types, such as octopus sprays or eel stings, but almost all of them can be avoided with an input on the D-pad, rendering all but mines useless. Easily, the worst aspect is the completely erratic AI. They repeatedly dominate you over the first 2 laps, but then almost fall asleep on the last lap and struggle to come back, especially on the easy setting. Races become a complete bore due to all of these issues, and it's almost sleep-inducing. Sometimes, races just break completely, seeing you become stuck in the ground and forced to respawn, unable to make inputs and quit the race, or the game just crashing completely. So, whether you're playing solo in quick races or challenge, or getting 3 others to join in with Wiimotes in split screen, it's a bad time. Challenge adds a handful of cutscenes to the proceedings, and they are decent looking, but also incredibly dull, with tedious humour that isn't helped by sleepy voice acting.
Hey, that's Marks. Oui, c'est bon.
Completing challenge on each difficulty unlocks new races to use, but despite differing stats and various identifying profiles, they all play the same due to how limited the racing is. You can complete the mode in around 90 minutes, and it's required to unlock each track in Quick Race and multiplayer, which is tedious for those wanting to jump into social sessions. But let's face it, when you have the likes of Mario Kart 8 and Fast Racing Neo on the same console, all of this is moot.
It reminds me of the ruins of a mythological Greek-like civilization.
That's because these are the ruins of a mythological Greek-like civilization.
Oh. Oh yeah.
It doesn't help that Jett Tailfin's presentation is shoddy. Visually, the game is very basic, its mobile routes all too plain to see. Texture work is flat, the animations are jittery, and there's even some pop-in during certain tracks. Worse still is the performance, which is completely unlocked and borderline nauseating. Rising to 60 frames per second, but dropping to choppy slideshow figures on many occasions, it makes the whole thing feel very staccato, even causing the starting countdown to deploy more slowly. The sound is grating, due mostly to racers having free canned lines for hitting boosts, landing hits with power-ups, or being hit by power-ups.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go.
It becomes very irritating very fast. The music is entirely bland and overshadowed by poor sound mixing, which sees those lines of dialogue repeat over each other. Jett Tailfin represents a terrible time all around, with almost no redeeming features to speak of. Tedious to play, borderline broken, and grating to experience, this racer ends up a complete bore. Most races devolve into the same painful loop. You spend most of the race on autopilot as steering isn't needed, while the AI lurches between infuriating and idiotic. Most races barely break the 2-minute mark, and it's almost a small mercy considering the awkward control mapping causes genuine discomfort, though it shows how little effort was put into this game. The concept of a fish racing game isn't terrible, but this game definitely is, and with a slew of better racers on the console, there's no need to go fishing for this.
I'm the top